The S&P tried to run to 4,800 but ran below 4,700 Friday. Today is January 6th, and you are listening to the Arbitrage Trade Weekend News. I'm your host, Darin Harper, bringing you 3 things you need to know for this weekend, 2 interviews, which are I resolved to be resolute in 2024, and returns of the gift kind. We have Daniel's financial deep dive on Outlook 2024, the financial year ahead, and a bonus blog titled, Do We Need to Return to Bretton Woods to Get Out of the Forest? Also, check out the winner and loser this week in the market. The 10-year bond jumped on a roller coaster this week and jumped up above 4 by the end of the week. WTI crude stayed in the mid to upper 73s. Here's 3 things. As the tensions continue to mount around the Gaza Strip and shipping vessels keep being attacked, the price for shipping things around the Red Sea, or in this case, rerouting to avoid the Red Sea, is rising quickly. This points to yet another cause for concern with increasing cost and thus higher inflation. What's your next move, Jerome Powell? Funds are prepared to take profits and control in the Bitcoin world after talking badly about it for years. The SEC still has to give its blessing before spot Bitcoin ETFs can proceed. The deadline for Cathie Wood's ARK Invest offering is January 10th at the latest. Seems to be an age-old battle between money and regulations. Bet we know which side wins. One thing's for sure, grab some popcorn and watch January 9th, January 10th for a lot of financial craziness, in my opinion, preceded by endless Bitcoin talk all next week in the financial press. And our third thing is the bigs for next week, as we normally do. Monday and Tuesday, like I said, just expect a lot of Bitcoin promoters on all media. Wednesday, crude oil inventories and the 10-year note auction. That's a big one. Thursday, all of the U.S. CPI info, initial jobless claims, and the 30-year bond auction. Friday is UK GDP and US PPI. Trade while you're sleeping across time zones with Arbitrage Trade Assist. Sign up today at arbitragetrade.com. Arbitrage Trade is your trusted source for business, finance, and tech info.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Rome. I've played many roles in television and film, but today I'm speaking as myself about a cause that's very dear to my heart. The Cancer Prevention and Treatment Fund provides free help to those who have cancer and those who wish to prevent it. They've also banned cancer-causing chemicals from our homes and neighborhoods. Your donation makes a difference because 98 cents of every dollar pays for programs and services, not fancy salaries or events. As a mom, I'm thankful that they've helped ban cancer-causing chemicals from our toddler toys and baby bottles. They continue to fight the same fight to keep these chemicals out of our playgrounds, pizza, and soda cans. Please donate today to the Cancer Prevention and Treatment Fund at stopcancerfund.com.
Hello, Caroline. Welcome back to 2024. How are things?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Did you get that lovely sweater or, that third thing that you really didn't want that you might want to give back?
Maybe not.
Because I know I've gotten a couple gifts sometimes that basically it's like, it was great, but I can probably do something better or different.
Or maybe the sweater didn't quite fit you exactly
yes,
right or something
hey,
like
this
that.
dad bod needs a little extra help sometimes.
So what can you do?
I don't know. That's a good question. What can you do?
Well, you can always try to make a return. Now, depending on who the gift is from and how you got it, you may or may not have a receipt or a gift receipt.
Fair enough.
So, there are some times when you could ask, hey, do you happen to have a gift receipt for that?
Oh, yeah.
Depending on who it is.
Tactfully.
Yes, of course, very kindly.
Yes.
There are some things you could do if you don't have a receipt or a gift receipt. Some stores, like I know Target, if you know something came from Target, you can go and try to return it without a receipt or a gift receipt. What they will do, they'll scan it, and they will also scan your driver's license. A lot of stores will do that to try to prevent
fraud,
serial returners and fraud, that kind of thing.
No, that makes sense.
Don't be surprised if they do that. But in those cases, you'll usually get the lowest price that item has sold for in the last 30 to 90 days.
Oh, wow.
So because they don't know when it was purchased.
And they don't want to give you the, that makes sense.
So if it was purchased at full price, but then later went on sale for 50% off, you're only going to get that 50% price probably only as an in-store gift card.
Okay.
They're not going to give you cash back.
That's okay. There's lots. I can't get out of Target without spending $100. I've
Right?
tried.
I know.
I have tried so many times.
It helps to go without a basket. If you just try to carry everything, that helps. That helps. So as a gift giver, try to always include the gift receipt.
See, yeah, that's smart. That's smart. Just in case.
Just in case, you're trying your best. You can also send some things back online. Or, like through the mail, like if it was purchased online. Sometimes they'll charge a restocking fee, or you might have to pay shipping.
Okay.
To send it back. Some stores, like J. Crew, Old Navy, Ann Taylor, several clothing stores around here will let you, if you bought it online, you can sometimes return it in person.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a nice
that
change
can help as well. So, especially with clothes or, jewelry or home decor, sometimes it's not quite your style. But have you ever gotten a gift card to a place and you're like, I'm never going to use this?
I'm not going to name the name of that store, but yes, I've definitely done that before.
Okay. So you have options. If
I did not.
A gift card. I learned this in
writing this article. Let's hear it.
There are some gift card exchange sites where you could go and say, I have a gift card for this store. It has $100 on it and someone might pay you $80 for it.
Oh,
so
okay.
Then you get $80 cash.
That could work.
Which is better than $100 you're never going to use.
Yep.
If that doesn't work, you can save the gift card. Maybe you wouldn't buy something from the store, but maybe your wife's birthday's coming up, or your favorite little, education person's birthday's coming up.
Right.
So you might be able to find a gift for someone else.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's even a place called Charity Choice, where you can donate the gift card to a charity, and then the charity could use that money for something.
That is some good information. Well, if you guys want to learn more about this, go to our blog at arbitragetrade.com/blog. Thank you again, Caroline, for being here, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, Royce.
I had a pretty normal mom life. Everything was pretty good, and it was a very happy life.
And we just had a new baby. And then all of a sudden, within a day or two, she's on life support and fighting for her life.
They told me my only chance was a heart transplant.
And the American Heart Association helped make that possible. Their research helped save me.
The American Heart Association funds research that leads to medical breakthroughs, trains people in CPR, and certifies hospitals to provide the best care for people who've had a heart attack or stroke.
I am very thankful for the American Heart Association.
One simple act today can save your life or the life of a loved one.
Heart disease is the #1 killer in America. To learn more about how the American Heart Association is saving lives, go to helpheart.org.
Hi, Darin. Welcome to 2024. Are you ready to begin a New Year's resolution?
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready.
All right. So
let's do this.
We're going to the gym, right? Is that what we're doing?
I do have a little gym at home. Yes.
Oh, hey.
I got to ease my way into it. I can't just go full out.
I just named my refrigerator gym, so I go to the gym every day.
Whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better, right?
I feel great. I am pumped.
So we're talking about a new year, right?
New year.
How we're going to divide and conquer this year.
Yeah, because sometimes tasks are just too big. So maybe we should break it down to smaller bites.
Right. Now I have a quote. We're going to start off the early part.
Ooh,
the quote.
Early quote.
Because this matters.
Okay.
All right. The quote is from F.M. Knowles. I don't know if he's kin to Beyonce or not.
Hey, you never know.
But this person said, he who breaks a resolution is a weakling. He who makes one is a fool.
Well,
let's talk about it anyway.
Let's talk about
I don't think one resolution we're talking about making too many at the beginning of the year, and then we're setting ourselves up for failure, right?
Yeah. Well, if you set things that are not smart goals, in my opinion, like they have to be measurable, they have to be attainable. And if they're not, then basically you get started and then you get disenfranchised.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, I guess I have another slice of pizza.
It's that diminishing returns, the downturn in the market, all that stuff. It's like our downturn in resolutions being kept. And then one thing leads to another. And you're like, oh, I can't do any of these. Yeah. So dividing and conquering, which is what is in this week's blog.
Yes, and basically
Break it up into 12 resolutions.
12 little resolutions.
One a month. That should
one a month. So
be able to
basically,
do
it's
that.
like I can keep a dive for a month. That's easy.
That's right.
Like a dive for a month is easy, and like learn something new. Focus on your financial well-being every now and then. Get Arbitrage Trade Assist. And your first month free. So that's at least 1 month already taken care of.
That's true. That's a great deal. Has it ever been done before?
Nope. This is our first time ever doing it.
Exactly. So 2024, we're starting new things. And basically we're trying to make sure that you guys are stay on the same page as we are, and don't get too far behind. I do know in October my resolution should be not to drink too much beer in September, because Oktoberfest is actually in September, not October. Okay, I have a problem with that, because in the blog, it's been set aside for October to be the artistic and imagination month.
Yes.
Without beer.
Without beer.
Is what you're saying.
Yes, but September, it's all out. Let's do this. Mudslides, hand grenades. We're going to New Orleans. We're going to Vegas.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. Okay. And in moderation, though. In moderation.
Okay. All right.
We have to watch our calories.
Yes. But I think, these 12 steps, it seems like it's very doable. I like the way it's broken down. I like that it hits 12 different things in our lives, and you can just set that out in your calendar, put reminders.
Yes.
To do that. And it should be very attainable. And I have another quote.
Another quote. All right, let's hear this.
Any new beginning is forged from the shards of the past, not from the abandonment of the past.
Okay.
That's Craig Lowsborough. Maybe.
Okay.
That might be the way you say his name.
Well,
but anyway, that could refer to resolutions. So
for sure. So if you guys want to learn more about the different resolutions that I'm personally setting, go to arbitragetrade.com/blog. And I think it is titled Festive New Year or something close to that.
All right, let's party. 2024.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm EJ Williams for American Humane. For thousands of years, dogs have been our best friends in our worst times. Today, we're also learning that our best friends, millions of whom are abandoned each year, are often the best medicine when people are facing obstacles. To help both people and animals, organizations like American Humane have been working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, finding animals in need of forever homes and training them as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help our veterans, the elderly, and children overcome the daily obstacles of life. In this way, the rescued can become the rescuers. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Hey, I'm Darin, and it's time for the financial deep dive with Daniel. And we just talked about, he did a blog last week on 2023, the year in review. Now it's time to look ahead. So we have several subjects that we're going to cover here, probably not all of them that need to be, but we're going to talk about wars and threats, interest rates, Bitcoin ETFs, Fed cuts, how many Epstein files. I mean, there's so many things that could impact this year, but we'll try to break it down. Daniel, what's the first thing you want to talk about for the year ahead?
I mean, just to start, based off that summary, I think this year will be just as wild as the year of last year. I don't think we're seeing anything calmer.
I think maybe the VIX and UVIXY might actually see some action this year.
Right. I mean, definitely, looking at the year, I think, 2 or 3 of the biggest things, one of the biggest things to affect markets is definitely going to be the interest rates. The Fed said that they're looking to do cuts midway through the year, but they came out with some rhetoric earlier in the week that had the market get a little bit bearish. And, we saw things turn down a little bit. So I think, when the Fed actually cuts, we'll see how the market actually reacts to that. And, that might also be impacted by 2 wars that are going on that could develop further. Who knows? It's kind of dynamic.
Man, the Fed, I tell you, they love to job on, don't they? Hey, they'll say something, then pull it back, then say it again and pull it back. So, yeah, we really don't know what's really being talked about inside those meetings. But even though we get meeting notes, the market thinks, or has been thinking, or maybe it's wishful thinking for 6 rate cuts, and now it's pulling back on that thought. And just like we were going to start in March, now maybe not so much, right?
Yeah, I think maybe they've said they're going to push it out to the second half of the year. And even then, we'll see. We haven't seen a lot of the higher level job cuts show up in the job report numbers. Credit and consumer spending is still strong. And
Right.
so, really until Jay Powell sees, people are getting on their knees for him to cut, he might not. And then, I can't remember if I've written about this before, but there are some charts showing that when the Fed starts to cut, at least the last 3 times they did, we actually see markets go down. So it's actually not it's a bullish thing initially, but then a few months later, it actually signals that we've had some weakness in the economy and that things aren't looking too hot.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a bit of a contrarian take.
Yeah, sure. He wants to be Superman, right? Every time and come in and save the day with his cuts. So it's a matter of when he wants to become the superhero, I guess, as he keeps pushing things further and further down the road. Like a lot of things in the economy right now, it's being just pushed further down the road for someone else to handle it. I think that's just a personal opinion. So, yeah, exactly. Not a financial advisor. This whole Mag 7 is becoming the Lag 7. Have you heard that?
Yep, I have.
So, I mean, obviously, it's just a rotation, right? You go from the things that are way at their all-time highs and then rotate them into other sectors, right?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the other 493 stocks that make up the S&P.
Yes. The magnificent 493. That's what it is now. So, global economies, you talked about that a little bit too in your blog. Global meaning that which does the U.S. lead the world, or does the world lead the U.S. right now in economies?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but something my dad always told me when I was growing up is that when the U.S., has a runny nose, that the rest of the world has the flu. And so, we're definitely, we still have the dominant currency, but, you're starting to see things change with the influence of China. They've invested in a lot of other countries like Africa and Latin America. You're seeing, like I said, or like we said before, we got 2 wars going on, and there's also some, stuff and conflicts going on in the Red Sea. And so, it's really, really dynamic in what's going on in the world. And, before, where I think the US used to be the world police, you see a bit more chaos going on now, and everyone's kind of pointing fingers of who's going to manage this.
Well, it's Red Sea. And then just in the last couple of days, North Korea is getting all froggy and doing some things.
They always get hot and bothered though. They haven't done too much when they get hot and bothered. It normally simmers down pretty quick.
Yeah, we will have to see about that. The economy, the biggest one I don't think it's played up enough right now is the housing issue in Germany. And I do think there could be some contagion there, although I thought Chinese Evergrande would as well, but it's like everything's just getting pushed down the road still, even when we talk about that. But Germany's going through some stuff right now.
Hey, nobody wants the party to end, and I can't blame them.
Of course, never pay. You don't want to have to pay. It's the free money has to eventually be paid for. But you're right. It's nobody wants to do that. What about banks? Banks this year, is that something that we need to be worried about? I mean, there is a bank term lending facility that was created last March with the crisis, and it was supposed to be $25 billion to cover deposits. Now, all of a sudden, it has ballooned over $141 billion in that same fund that banks are using for I don't know what.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like you've been saying, that pushing the can down the road, and if they don't have to mark it on their books, like all the unrealized losses they have in bonds, then it kind of doesn't get a lot of media attention. And it's one of those unfortunate things where it probably does have real risk, but until it gets realized, it's, kind of everybody likes to just keep skipping along.
As long as I'm not going to be forced, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
The inflation too, that we keep hearing about, it is softening, and we're going to have a soft landing. But The Red Sea issue is not going to help with the supplies, but I was looking at a 4-year chart on inflation, and ever since 2020, inflation has gone up 17%, and I don't think people's incomes have.
Yeah, I was actually looking at a chart on Twitter from Lynn Alden that was showing the trend line of inflation, which over the course of time is pretty consistent, but after 2020, it's up about 20%, so pretty close to the number that you saw. And for it to fall back into trend, it would have to fall, 15+%, which would be kind of crazy to have a deflationary period like that. And, like you were saying, I think there was some initial wage growth, but, definitely starting to see it catch up. And you are starting to see a lot of places like McDonald's or Chipotle, when they're in California and, there's a new minimum wage that just got raised, that they're saying, you know what, that's a little too expensive. We're just going to put this monitor screen kiosk thing right here, and we'll just have 5 less cashiers. So good luck to you.
Yeah, and I guess one last thing on that is I do see artificial intelligence taking over people's jobs for sure. Well, here's what I think, Daniel. I think it's going to end up being a year of popcorn. And what I mean by that is there's going to be a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of volatility between now and November. And so I'm just going to sit back and, like I said, grab my popcorn and watch.
I as well. It's definitely going to be interesting, especially as things lead into the election.
All right, Daniel, I appreciate you coming on board here and talking to us this week. And I'm looking forward to next week's talk.
Yep. Catch you next time, Darin. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Daniel. You too.
Teen depression. A lot of kids are dealing with it today. So, what's behind it? Well, there's the question. Are they depressed because they have bad grades? Or do they have bad grades because they're depressed? A relationship goes bad. Getting bullied. Maybe there's more than one reason. Maybe there's no reason at all. Whatever's behind it, teen depression can be overwhelming and isolating. But it doesn't have to stay that way. If you're feeling off your game right now, it's time to jumpstart your comeback. Time to take charge and take the first step. Visit yourlifeyourvoice.org. You have the strength to turn things around. Make your move.
Do we need to return to Bretton Woods to get out of the forest? With all the craziness going on in the world today, perhaps it makes sense to revisit the gold standard days. What would it look like if we returned to that? Is it plausible? Or was too much power and control given to the World Bank and the IMF? Many countries are stockpiling gold right now. What do they know? We may never know, but it is always good to review a history of something that was successful, especially for the U.S. The Bretton Woods Agreement, forged in fires of World War II, left an indelible mark on the global economic landscape. Anchored by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, it established a new post-war order based on fixed exchange rates, with the U.S. dollar reigning supreme as the currency kingpin, directly pegged to gold. This system, implemented in the mid-1940s, delivered undeniable benefits. Prosperity was unbound. Bretton Woods ushered in an era of unprecedented global economic growth. Stable exchange rates fostered predictable international trade, boosting confidence and encouraging investment. Countries, particularly war-torn Europe and Japan, were able to rebuild and flourish under the protective umbrella of American financial might. This sustained growth paved the way for decades of rising living standards and poverty reduction around the world. There were shifting power dynamics too. The agreement cemented America's economic dominance. The dollar's privileged position at the heart of the system, backed by vast U.S. gold reserves, solidified its international prestige and facilitated American influence in global trade and finance. This newfound power enabled the U.S. to champion a more open and integrated world economy, shaping geopolitical alliances and fostering a sense of shared prosperity, albeit with a distinctly American flavor. But then there were seeds of discord. Beneath the gleaming surface, inherent contradictions lurked. The reliance on the U.S. dollar and gold created an asymmetrical system, benefiting the U.S. as the reserve currency issuer at the expense of others. Persistent U.S. trade deficits eroded confidence in the dollar's gold peg, while growing international liquidity strained the fixed exchange rate regime. These underlying tensions, coupled with the rising inflation and domestic political pressures, ultimately led to the Bretton Woods system's demise in the early 1970s. While the system may have cracked, its legacy endures. The IMF and World Bank continue to play crucial roles in global finance governance, albeit in a more flexible and dynamic environment. The Bretton Woods Agreement reminds us of the intricate interplay between economic architecture, power dynamics, and the enduring quest for stability and growth in a globally interconnected world. Its lessons continue to inform contemporary debates on international monetary cooperation and the delicate balance between national interest and collective prosperity.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020.
We were adopted in 2019.
And we were adopted in 2021.
We had a house, and it sounds crazy, but it wasn't a home. The one thing that Jake and Emma brought is it became a home.
When I met Dakota, he had just turned 14.
You weren't there for the first this and the first that. I missed the first words, but we got a lot of other firsts.
Watching her say, oh my God, I cannot believe I got my license. And she's like, I passed. And I'm like, girl.
See them grow. It is.
They chose to love us. They didn't have to. They chose us. Family.
You and you.
Kids in the middle.
What I thought was a complete life was nowhere near complete, but it is now.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Winner and loser. This week in the market, our loser is Agilon Health, Inc., that's AGL. It's headquartered in Austin, Texas, and they offer healthcare services for seniors through primary care physicians in the communities of the U.S. The stock tumbled after cutting its margin guidance due to higher medical costs. The CFO also announced his retirement. Monday open, it was at $12.58, then ran quickly up to $13.17, but then the rug pull happened Friday, dropping the stock price down to $7.73 the same day. That's not very healthy. And the winner is Zim Integrated Shipping Services, or ZIM. The entire shipping world will see some pricing action due to the event happening in the Red Sea. This is the winner this week. It's headquartered in Israel. They provide container shipping and related services in Israel and internationally. Zim provides door-to-door and port-to-port transportation services for various types of customers, including end users, consolidators, and freight forwarders. Monday, it opened at $10.55, and then it popped up to $14.80 by Friday. Thank you for joining us today for another edition of Arbitrage Weekend News. Log into arbitragetrade.com to read our wide variety of blogs and educate yourself on Trade Assist and Forex trading, or even how to make passive money with our Trade Assist affiliate marketer program. You can also get to know our cute little AI bot, Pips. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC, please visit arbitragetrade.com.